All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are so excited to be here tonight talking with the students from Syracuse University. My name is Joanne Fenton, and I am a vocal coach and director of JPAC, Performing Arts Training Center here in the Hudson Valley. And I'm thrilled to offer these free webinars to help students and parents navigate the BFA process and learn more about the different programs. So the way I've been doing these webinars is that I'll have our guests introduce themselves and tell us each a little bit about their journey. And then I'll ask some questions and I will open those questions up to y'all who are listening. And if you have a question, you can throw it in the chat and we'll make sure that we circle around and get to as many of them as possible. All right, so first, Samantha, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, I'm Samantha. I am a current senior musical theater major at Syracuse, and I'm from Iowa, Iowa City.
Please. And Alex?
Hi, my name is Alex. I am a former Syracuse musical theater major. I graduated in 2024, and I'm from just outside of Philadelphia.
Great. Well, why don't we start, Samantha? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your audition journey and how you ended up and why you chose Syracuse?
Yeah, I was auditioning during 2020, like 2021, 2022. So this was still a lot of stuff was online, and it was still kind of COVID coming back online and that all of that. But I was very much a senior who wanted to do everything and wasn't willing to drop anything. So a lot of my auditions ended up being online because I just couldn't make it to auditions just because of how much stuff I was involved in. But since I'm from Iowa, Chicago was a close destination for me. So I did the Chicago Unifieds and just tried to pile in all of my auditions into that weekend. And that's actually where I did my Syracuse audition. So yeah, I was doing a mix of, I think there was only one place that I traveled to for an in-person audition on campus, but everything else was either online or Chicago Unifieds. For Syracuse audition, it was actually one of my favorite auditions, and I walked away very much putting Syracuse at the top of my list. I had such a great experience. It was did not feel as rushed. I feel like as a lot of other auditions that I had gone to, I feel like I really spent time getting to know the group that I was auditioning with, the faculty, and also we were getting feedback and getting to know each other. And yeah, I just walked away with really positive feelings towards it. It was definitely a large block of time, which I was really scary at first. I was like, oh my gosh, wait, what do you mean I'm here for 2 hours? But I don't actually remember how long it was. But it I left with it being one of my top auditions. But yeah.
Okay. Alex.
So I auditioned for colleges pre-COVID. I graduated high school in 2020. So we were the cutoff right at like March. We were, out of school and didn't know when we'd be back. But I did all of my auditions in person. I was actually kind of the opposite. I ended up traveling to most of the schools that I auditioned for and auditioned on campus. I went to New York City Unifieds and I only auditioned for one school there. And then I auditioned for Syracuse in person on campus. It was it was my second audition for any college. And it was great. I loved it. We danced first, I remember, and then sang and did our monologues. And I remember I was in that room singing and doing my monologues for like a good 15 plus minutes. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm doing it so many times. I'm singing so many extra songs. Like, this is crazy. Um, and I left. I was feeling really good about it. I had a really good friend that went to Syracuse already. So I had talked to her. I knew of the schools I was auditioning for, that Syracuse was my top school, which was a little scary because of how just crazy the process is and how it just feels like we have no control a lot of time.
Mhm.
So I did leave knowing that this is where I want to go. And then it ended up being the very first school that I heard back from. So yeah, that was kind of my process. And I worked with for college auditions, I worked with like a college audition coach as well as my voice teacher to help me prepare.
That's great. Actually, that's a great question too, because a lot of the students on here, um, at least in some of the other webinars, were asking like, how did you prepare? I'm always curious what summer programs. I don't know how popular they were, and now they've become really popular. The summer intensive. I feel like I don't remember hearing all that much about them before COVID. I don't know your experience, Alex. Obviously,
Yeah.
like the MT, the musical theater college audition, has been around a while.
Yeah, yeah. So I grew up going to Stage Door Manor for summer camp. I
Okay.
went there for I think 5 summers growing up, and that was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And then I went to TPAP, the Performing Arts Project. They had like
Mhm.
a 2 week intensive that was specifically geared towards college auditions. And it wasn't a one school specific kind of intensive, but it gave me a really nice overview. So I felt like I was going into the process kind of knowing what I was getting myself into. Um, and I ended up working with MTCA for my college audition process, but I really only used them for acting, for my monologue. I really trusted my voice teacher. I felt like he had a better understanding of, who I was and how I could sound and what I like to sing. So I really relied on him for music choices. And then for dance, I ended up actually just working with one of my dance teachers from my home studio. So it was kind of a putting a lot of puzzle pieces together to find the people who I felt like knew me the best and
Art.
how they could help me, because I so many people will sell you their whether it's a summer program or their course or their private lessons or anything, but sometimes you just have to trust the people that have brought you to where you are the whole way,
Mhm.
because they'll probably know you the best and help you prepare the material that reflects who you are the best and not just throwing something at you that isn't really you.
Yeah, that's a great point. That I think that a lot of kids are searching for different programs, and some of them are really fantastic. And they're, especially if you're going on to the campus and you're spending a week there and getting the vibe for the school, that's great. Um, but yeah, there's something about with some of the people that you worked with, they know your personality and your abilities.
Mhm.
So, Samantha, what
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
you?
I also used MTCA for my college audition prep. I felt so lost going into this, and I, especially when it came to choosing material, I just felt very basic knowledge on like where to go, what to look at. Especially when it came to monologues and stuff, I had really no idea what to do. So that was super helpful for me. I also had someone help me with the dance and picking material for my songs as well. I had a really great experience using MTCA. I felt like they gave me a clear, like, just I had a better understanding of what was expected of me, and it really clarified a lot of things for me. And then for summer programs, I did SSTI. I was supposed to go in person, and then COVID hit, and I didn't do their show one. I did their like college prep one. I did that as a rising junior in high school. A lot of the other people who did it were seniors, and it was really awesome because a lot of them were working on college prep, and I wasn't quite at that point, but I still didn't really know how to do self tapes, didn't know how to do cuts, and um, as I was getting a better understanding of that through watching them do it, which was really great. And then the next summer before my senior year, I did the program at Florida State. Uh, and that was like, it was a 3 week program and it was hands down one of my favorite experiences. I met really great people who I'm still friends with 5 years later. I'm actually living with uh, someone I met um, through that program. And yeah, I really found community there, and we've been in touch ever since. And yeah, that's kind of been my experience.
But when you did the Florida State summer program, did you
Mhm.
leave being like, I gotta go to Florida State. That's my school.
I, I, Florida State was definitely on the top of my list. I actually took off all Florida schools for me because I was there in the summer and I was so hot. And I like, I'm from Iowa, so like I have experienced heat before, but not a Florida kind of heat. And being there for 3 weeks in the summer, I texted my mom and I was like, "We need to update the spreadsheet. Only Florida State can stay. I can't do this." But some of my friends from that program ended up at Florida State, and they're having the best time. I loved that school. And yeah, I mean, this is for Syracuse, but also Florida State is great. But yeah, I loved
Yeah,
getting to go in person and experience a college campus before heading off to one. It was great.
that's great.
Mhm.
Um, so if we're like, so you got accepted to Syracuse and you're weighing your options, what were some things that like specifically jumped out about Syracuse for you that was like, this is not only like the great vibe and that you felt great in the room, but specific things about that program that you felt were so unique that you felt you were going to get what you needed from your time there?
Yeah, so I guess to just share all information, the other schools I had gotten into and was kind of choosing between were Syracuse, NYU's musical theater program, University of Miami, and Muhlenberg. And I knew there were specific things at Syracuse. There were specific things in general that I was looking for. I wanted a real like college experience outside of the drama department. That was really important to me.
Mhm.
Um, to be on a campus, which something like NYU, I knew that might not be quite as good of a fit, even though I do live in New York City now, and very, very happily. But I wanted to be on a campus. Syracuse allows you to minor, which was something that was really interesting to me. So I ended up minoring in music industry, like music business. And that's played a huge role in my career now after graduating. And also, I loved just the amount of resources in Syracuse's program as well as the alumni network. Syracuse is housed within Syracuse Stage, which is like a professional equity theater. So while I was a student at Syracuse, I was able to perform in a professional production while also going to classes, which was really exciting. And the semester in New York City, the Tepper semester, was my personal favorite semester of college. It provided me with an incredible launching pad for my career now. It's where um, I met my now agent, and I just feel like Syracuse has a lot of really unique opportunities that a lot of schools don't offer, as well as a combination of drama and studying, musical theater and what you're there to study, and experience and everything else.
So the temper semester, I'm not sure that some of our viewers know what that is, but if you want to
Yeah,
explain that.
actually, my information on that might be a little outdated. So I want to pass that question,
Yeah.
Tiffany.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm actually currently in the Tepper semester right now. So I've been living in New York City for a month now. I'm still taking classes. I haven't graduated yet, but the Tepper semester is for second semester seniors. It's an opportunity to move to New York City and continue taking classes and continue your training while still being in the university and with the support of your teachers. I think, especially being from small town Iowa, I think the looming, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to move to New York City one day was terrifying for me. And this has very much felt like Alex said, a nice launching pad into post graduation for me. Um, so for Tepper, it's not required. Most of our grade goes, including design um, and non-performance majors, so our production majors as well. But they also offer an LA program, so some of my friends are off in LA, and some people choose to stay. But yeah, I've been learning to navigate New York City while making connections through working professors who are currently working as casting agents in the industry. I mean, my dance teacher, they've like changed the Tepper semester a bit, but we now have a dance teacher and she will go to open calls and learn choreography and teach it to us. And like you have teachers who are actively doing it and reporting back. So you're getting up to date information because industry is always changing and there's always something new to be looking out for. So I've been absolutely loving this semester so far. It's been really great. And then another reason that I chose Syracuse was because of their London program. I did that my first semester junior year. It is an opportunity to study Shakespeare at Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London. Um, it was incredible. We took classes at the Globe Theatre with working professionals. We ended up putting on a abridged version of the show. So I did Taming of the Shrew with my classmates, and we got to perform on the Globe stage while living in London, traveling. There were um, trips organized by the school. And it was just an incredible experience. I mean, studying abroad is just want a once in a lifetime opportunity. So the fact that I have now gotten to do both live in London and New York City while still being in college is just I'm so grateful and I've learned so much uh, from my time both in London and in New York City.
Oh, that's great. So
Mhm.
when you're in your senior year, your last semester, you're in New York City and you're taking your dance classes, but is a lot of that like working toward your showcase? Like, because I know that you said, Alex, that's where you met your agent and, were signed. Was that part of your showcase, or was that part of the class where you're reaching out and networking and
So that was actually something different that ended up being really serendipitous. We had uh when at least when I was there, I'm not sure anymore, but the this wonderful casting director was a teacher of one of our classes, and she casts a lot, really big shows, TV, film, theater, and she offered this casting director workshop over Zoom for TV and film and brought in a wonderful casting director, and we were assigned scenes to read for this casting director. So I prepared my scenes. I was having this meeting on Zoom. Apparently, I got the scenes completely wrong, completely misread the tone that they were going for. So then I got some corrections and she had me redo it, and then it was fine. But that casting director ended up being best friends with my now agent. So
um,
she after we had our meeting over Zoom, she reached out to him and said, watch out for this girl. And he ended up reaching out to the head of the Tepper semester. And so she reached out to me. She's like, we have potential representation for you. Can you send over your film and TV reel? I didn't have a film and TV reel. All I had was the material I had filmed during our on-camera acting class at Syracuse. So I sent him exactly what I had from class. I had a meeting with him a week later, and then I signed.
Very nice. That's a
That
great
was that.
story.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Um, so if any of you have questions, you can by all means put them in the chat and I will answer them for you. I'm going to keep going though because and when they come up, we'll get them. So let's talk about like and I know like it's been a couple years, Alex, but I'm sure you both remember like what is a normal typical week? Like what can freshmen expect when they're coming in? Um, the balance of like gen ed class versus how many dance classes. I assume voice lessons are every semester. Yeah. How does that look for Samantha? Yeah.
Yeah, I can take this one. I Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember freshman year. Okay,
Yeah.
so freshman year you take this class called core, and I know it's changed a bit since I did core, but you are put in a little cohort of all the performance majors, so it's a mix of acting and musical theater, and you stay with them all semester. You have other classes with um, like the full musical theater students and that kind of stuff. And dance can be different, but it's just this cohort for these morning classes. And you take voice like acting voice classes. You take improv classes. I When we did it, we did a stage combat and intimacy introduction, which was awesome. I know some of the stuff has kind of changed around, but yeah, you just get a lot of the foundation. Syracuse really believes in making sure that everyone's starting from around the same level with foundations of we're all coming from different backgrounds and also different like training and stuff. I mean, I have some friends who came in whose high schools didn't even have a theater, and then other people were coming from like theater school. So really freshman year is about kind of stripping things down to the basics. I know my freshman year we only took ballet for the first semester and then added on jazz just so we could really work on technique. I know pretty sure they take more now. This is really just going off of my own personal experience, but yeah, so that's mostly core. So you're going to start your morning typically with a core class, and then we did musical theater as an MT. I did musical. Oh my gosh, what was it? We did history stuff, and then we also did and now I'm forgetting what it's called. The Alex, if you
The uh,
with like
which class are you referring
with
to?
Carrie
With
and April.
oh, like
What is
voice
that?
lab?
We also did voice lab, which is oh my goodness, you guys,
Music
which is
theory?
where you would get together with all the other people who had the same voice teacher, and you would kind of just share what you've been working on semester, and it was really cool because you got to be with all the other grades as well. Um, music theory. Oh my gosh, there we
There
go.
it is.
I got it.
Okay.
Guys, I dug deep. We did music theory stuff. And we also learned a lot about vocal health, which really came in handy. I ended up going through a vocal injury freshman year, so I had a lot of support through my professors and also through the knowledge I had learned through classes, and would not have been able to do the healing and everything that I did without the support that I was given. And yeah, I think that's kind of a lot of the stuff that you take.
That's good. That's good to know.
Yes.
As someone that studied voice pathologies,
Yes.
I'm glad that they're aware of that and they take care of their singers,
Mhm.
because so much of the contemporary music is so demanding that the risk of injury is higher for sure.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I love that they take care of you guys.
Mhm.
We do have a question here. Can you speak on the All-Star Cast workshops?
Um, Alex,
Oh no, I was were you ever a part of All Star Cast?
I was not.
I wasn't either, but I heard it was wonderful. Um,
Yes.
So,
yeah, I
what is it exactly for people who don't know what it is? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
course. So All-Star Cast is a program that is offered as a class, I believe, for a few hours on Friday mornings, for students of all grades, I believe, from sophomore to seniors. And it is a class where the Syracuse students and performers um, work with differently abled performers from the Syracuse community. And then the entire class culminates in a public performance where all of the actors are collaborating together and they put on this really fun show, and it's produced right in one of the Syracuse theater spaces.
That's great.
Yeah. I went to their show this year, and it was so wonderful. And it's a really special thing that Syracuse gets to do.
Um, how rigorous are the gen eds at Syracuse?
Totally depends, I would say. Um, I I only took we were at least we were required to take 25 credits of academic credits. It could be anything. And then additionally, some of those were our required 2 semesters. You could place out of one of those semesters, I believe, or maybe both. I didn't place out of either one. But I had to take 2 required semesters of writing. So I took both of those my freshman year. And then I actually saw another question in the chat about, oh, minoring as a musical theater
Hmm.
major. I minored in music industry, music business, and that was in the music school, which is outside of the Department of Drama. Um, and it is possible to minor. People have minored in psychology, marketing, business, finance, anything you can imagine. That's one thing I absolutely love about Syracuse. So, in terms of my other academic credits, I was able to use all of them for my minor. So
Nice.
that even includes, so I ended up taking for music industry, which I cannot recommend that minor enough, because Syracuse has a really, really incredible like communications program and music industry. Um, I ended up taking 4 semesters of required classes, which were 2 semesters on music business and one on music industry, marketing, and media, and then another semester on contract law and ethics. So I now know my way around any performance contract, which is really, really useful.
Hmm.
Um, so I then was able to take really cool other classes like studio recording, where the whole class took place in Syracuse's recording studio. And then I did a lot of music industry internships outside of the curriculum, and I was actually able to get credit for those. So I ended up getting about 5 or 6 academic credits through my internships.
That's great. I love that music industry. That's a great minor and so helpful.
It has
And
been like it has helped me so much in building my career outside of performing, because that is one thing that no matter where you go, if you can be conscious of the fact that like once you graduate, you're probably not going to be performing 100% of the time. What else are you going to do? How else can you build your career in other areas that you're interested in? And Syracuse, if you take advantage of them, they offer so many classes and mentors and just tools in general for you to grow as an entrepreneur, as a business person, outside of just becoming an artist. And unfortunately, in today's landscape with performing and how this career has expanded into, you have to be your own marketing team and business person. Um, Syracuse, if you use the resources, they will equip you so well to do all of that.
That's great. Um, I so let's I wanted to talk, one of you mentioned Syracuse Stage, which I know is the equity theater that's attached to the university. Yeah, it's like on the, and also for those who don't know enough about the program, that your theater department is not on the main campus. It's a little off, not terribly far, but that let's talk about that a little bit. Maybe
I
Samantha?
I personally never worked with Syracuse Stage, just kind of with how things lined up, but it was really, really cool getting to share a space with working professionals. We got to see every show at Syracuse Stage for free, which just, especially as a student, just any exposure to theater is a learning opportunity. And I like getting to see shows that typically like you'd have to spend 60 plus dollars on for free, and getting to see them as many times as possible was so beneficial, and I learned so much. I also got so much exposure to plays, which is something that I hadn't been able to see a lot of. Um, and then also you get talk back. So we do this thing called Theater Lab for one of your classes. You take it every year. It's with every grade, every major, and it's every Wednesday. And it's really nice because it really brings the community of the department together. And depending on the week, sometimes you'll have people from the cast or the directing team. Come in from the Syracuse Stage show and then do a talk back about their process, stuff like that. Sometimes bring in alumni. Sometimes shows would do a little preview, but really getting to share a space like that was really incredible, and getting the opportunity to audition for professional shows in a space that felt comfortable, with people that a lot of the times you knew was really cool. Also, your professors a lot of the times would also be auditioning. So I have a lot of friends who would perform with our professors. So it was very cool. I can pass this on to Alex because she had an experience with us.
Yeah. So my junior year, I was in The Little Mermaid, the Syracuse stage, and I played one of the Mer sisters, and then I understudied Ariel, who was brought in a professional working equity, actors equity, part of the union performer. So that was a wild experience of being a full-time student and also working a full-time performance schedule.
Mm.
So we were in classes, and that we were in classes all during the day. We had to make sure our schedule that semester classes had to end at 4 p.m. We then rehearsed from 4 to 10 p.m. most nights. And then all day Saturday, all day Sunday, we had Mondays off. And that was a wild schedule, but it ended up being really worth it because now I was able to, get it and understand what it is like performing in such a crazy schedule. And then our performance schedule, we were doing 8 to 10 shows a week, which now I know that's not normal. It's usually just eight. But we did have some 10 show weeks, and I stayed over Thanksgiving, over winter break. It was a crazy experience, and it taught me so much about being a part of an equity show with working professionals, what the standard is, the rehearsal etiquette, how much you need to know walking in on the first day, what it is to understudy, what the expectations are. I think they do a lot more understudying in this department shows now under my of my understanding. There used to not be too much understudying while I was there, but I'm pretty sure now there's a whole lot of understudying, which is so valuable. Um, but yeah, it was my first professional credit.
That's great. 10 shows a week. How'd they get away with that with an equity contract? Oh,
I don't know.
that's yeah. Um, so so now with auditions for main stage, because I one of my former students was in your grade, I think, Alex. And I remember her auditioning for the main stage and not at one year not getting into them, but then getting into one of the Syracuse stage productions. So like they have main stage productions and you can audition for Syracuse stage. Can you explain a little bit about that? Like how many opportunities are there for students to perform and be in shows and showcases, and when can they start auditioning?
I can talk a little bit about that. So with the drama department, there are main stage shows, which are the ones in our main theater, the Sutton, and then we have also sometimes loft shows in the Clark Theater. So this past semester, I was a standby for Spitfire Grill, which was done in the loft, directed by a fellow senior. So it was a super cool experience. So those could be two places for drama shows, and then there's also the Syracuse stage shows, and just depending on their season, you could they're the co-productions, which are the ones where they want a lot of students to audition for, and then there's some that there are roles open for students that you can also audition for. It just kind of depends on what their season is. Typically, the
Mhm.
holiday show is their co-production. And then we also have something called Black Box Players, which is a student organization, and they put on a lot. They put on their a whole season too. They have student directors and choreographers and everything, and it's student run. And also, they can have non-majors cast, so it's a great way to meet other people through that. And they have done shows all over. So they've done them in the Sutton Pavilion. So they did it in our like lobby area. They've done ones on campus. One of my friends, part of the season, she wrote a play and then directed it. Um, so there's just a lot of incredible opportunities like that. They're doing a dance review right now. I was a part of a dance show done at a art museum, uh, which was an incredible performance space, which is not typically a part of the season. So yes, they're the main stages, and I think a lot of weight gets put on those, and then also Syracuse stage. But there are just so many opportunities and just so many things to do. Like it was impossible to go to every show. I tried because I would constantly have friends doing things, but you were always like there were like three shows a weekend, and you're like, well, which can we go see? And then you're also rehearsing for other things, and which is just such an incredible thing of just being exposed to that much theater and that many creatives, because then also you're not only just being seen as a performer, like you can choreograph, you can direct, you can produce, and just all of these really incredible things. So yeah, that's just kind of a lot about the season and the opportunities held there.
And can you cannot audition your junior or your freshman year, correct?
No. Yes, correct.
So that starts sophomore year. Is that
Hmm.
correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that starts sophomore year. And honestly, when I was applying, I was like, oh, no performing my freshman year. You're, it's not like it is the performance schedule can get really intense. And it is such a great opportunity your freshman year to not go to rehearsals and just to take your classes, get to know your classmates, get accustomed to living in college, and enjoy being a part of the school. And so by the time you're ready for your sophomore year, you will be ready to perform. You'll be a lot more settled in and you'll be able to handle taking on something like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I had friends at other programs who showed up their first day freshman year and had to audition for a season.
Mhm.
And they were like, I haven't even met these people. They don't
Mm.
know me. And it just was very, very overwhelming. I also was a little scared of the non-performance first year just because I was like, I want to perform, but it ended up being really nice and really nice for my grade. It gave us a lot of time to bond and again, I was new to college and I was still settling in, and the idea of having to navigate college while also trying to figure out a performance schedule was a lot. And the other cool thing is, as a freshman year, you have a tech crew assignment. So you have to tech one show. You can be an usher too, but I was a spotlight operator for Sweet Charity my freshman year, which was so much fun. And it really gave me a new perspective on how shows are run. I got to have a headset and got to hear cues be called, which is something that I had never heard before as someone who had always been um, on the stage. It was so cool to get to be on the other side, and it's really important to be able to see how a show gets put together because it wouldn't be able to run without everyone. And then my with my vocal injury, I wasn't able to audition for shows my sophomore year, which was really scary because I was like, wait, I just spent a whole year not performing. Um, but I got an opportunity to assistant direct a show with a guest choreographer, or no, a guest director and choreographer, which is how I got to know Jess and how I I really got to see that new side of things. And yeah, and that's an opportunity I really wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
That's great. Here we go. What, I was just going to ask you this. I'm glad someone asked this. What is the average size of the MT cohort? And is there a lot of mixing with the acting majors?
Yes, there is a lot of mixing. My class of MTs was 19, and our acting class was 25, I believe. And what's so awesome about the musical theater program is that all of the musical theater majors and acting majors take acting classes together. So the core class that Samantha was discussing earlier, that is that freshman year really intensive acting class, that is both musical theater majors and acting majors. So you will be training together, and it's actually really funny. The teachers, they don't even know who's who in terms of who is a musical theater major, who's an acting major. Your freshman year, everyone's doing the same things acting wise, at least with that class. Um, so it's a really nice way to feel like your class is much bigger. There's really no segregation between the acting majors and the musical theater.
And then we were actually just talking before everyone signed on that they also offer an actor singer track, which is something a little different, but I think interesting and worth talking about for someone if you went for the BFA and MT and you were offered the acting singing track as maybe a redirect. Um, I don't know,
Yeah.
Alex, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. So the actor singer program that we were talking about earlier is it is it is kind of an extension of the acting program. So you will graduate with a BFA in acting, but you will be able to take the MT classes, the musical theater classes, with the musical theater majors. So that'll include like musical theater scene study, musical theater performance, song performance, like master class style, get up and sing kind of a class. And you will also be enrolled in voice lessons as a part of your curriculum. So you are getting a lot of the benefits of being a musical theater major and an acting major, but you're not dancing. So that is one thing. There's no dance classes for actors, singers. Acting majors, they are taking the full acting curriculum and they are able to add on voice lessons if you'd like, but it's just not included in tuition. But it is an option.
Mhm. And for this is a, always comes up as a question. I'm surprised no one's asked it yet. But what is the dancing like at Syracuse? Because we always have like our strong actor singers who can move. How do they fare during the audition process? And are the dance classes leveled? Samantha?
Yeah, the dance classes are leveled. Like I was saying earlier, freshman year, you're really starting out with the basics of ballet and then adding in jazz. And I know through core intensives, they've been adding, I think they did some salsa this past year, and I think they did some partner work too. But like modern is also an option. Tap, styles is a really cool class where and depending on the teacher you go throughout different styles of musical theater, and you're the one I took, we went through different eras, so we like had a Fosse era, and then we just kind of like got like went through and learned a lot of history, and then also just would learn choreography from different shows, which was awesome. And then I also know some people who've taken it different semesters, and they every week was a new audition where they learned material from shows currently on Broadway. So there, one week would be doing Great Gatsby, and the next week would be doing an Outsiders, like just stuff like that. So that's also a really great dancing opportunity. Um, the dance classes are leveled, so I think I have friends who came in with a lot of dance experience, and I have friends who came in with zero dance experience. And just depending on where you're, no matter where you're at, there is a class for you, and there's a class that challenges you. I I grew up doing dance and dance competitions, and was like competitive dancer, everything, Nutcracker, and I am in classes that have pushed me and really challenged me, and I have gotten to be such a better dancer. Um, and then I also have friends who came in not knowing anything and who are leaving being like, I feel confident saying that I'm a dancer, and I feel confident going into a dance call, and knowing that I can do well. So the dance faculty is so wonderful and so supportive, and um, yeah, they really just kind of meet you where you're at. Yeah.
Great. Um, so we talked a little, the all your classes are off campus. That's like, is that a bus ride? How do students maneuver that? Well, some obviously for your first 2 years, did you live on campus? How does that work?
Yeah, so our first 2 years, all freshmen will live on campus unless you are in a fraternity or sorority, and you can live in your sorority house or fraternity house.
Is that
I,
possible to be in a fraternity or sorority
yeah,
in
I was
with
in a
the
sorority.
MT? Okay.
I was and I was super involved. I was in, yeah, I did like a little bit of everything, and that's what I love about Syracuse.
Yeah.
But so you're required to live on campus for your first 2 years. There's a very convenient and easy bus that comes and stops at a couple places where any dorm you're in, it'll be really easy to get to. All of the drama majors will take it at the same time, so everybody's figuring it out together. It's very easy though, and if you do want to walk it, it's about a 15-minute walk. So it's really not too bad. I did not feel isolated from the rest of the campus. I will say that. I did not. I went and took my classes. I came back. I still had all my friends in my dorm and everything, and it was totally fine. Um, But so yes, so we did take the classes there. There are some classes I remember taking at the music school, which is right on campus in the middle of everything. And then because of my minor, I took a handful of classes in the music school as well. So I did end up taking some classes on campus. And then we live off campus for junior and senior year. And many of the apartments off campus that everybody lives in are right a 2-minute walk from the drama building. So it's a little inconvenient freshman, sophomore year, but then junior and senior year, you will be the one with the most convenient commute to class.
Good to know. Uh, what's the food hall like? The on-campus food?
Um, I mean, I personally, I'm not a picky eater. Um, I felt as though there were a lot of options. I know some food has, I know some food has changed. But I lived in Sadler, which had a dining hall connected to it. I had unlimited swipes my freshman year, which was awesome. I could swipe in guests. No, I mean, I mean, it's dorm food. It was nice for the first. It was nice for the first year because obviously, like, I didn't have to cook, and it was cool getting to see all the different options. And then when I lived in South Campus my sophomore year, which is it's like a mini apartment that's still technically on campus, just a little off. My roommate and I drive to um would drive to class, but then you could also take the bus. And I had a kitchen and I started cooking, which I liked so much better. But I also just really enjoy cooking. Um, but yeah, and then I had friends living on campus who would still go to the dining halls sophomore year.
Samantha, do they still have the food cart at the stage?
Oh yes. Oh, I should
Yeah,
talk about the food part.
yeah. So, like we were saying before, that the Syracuse stage building is where we take all of our classes. It's a little bit far from any of the dining halls, so luckily there is a fully stocked food cart that is available at the stage. They have entrees, appetizers, all kinds of different food options. Really, anything you could be in the mood for, they will have it every single day, which is
Mhm.
really nice. And you're able to use what Samantha was talking about, your meal swipes, which is what you buy. It's like your meal plan at the beginning of each semester. So you will be able to use your meal plan at the stage building.
Mhm. And they have a lot
That's
of
good.
snacks and stuff like that. And then also um, as a junior and senior, when I didn't have meal swipes, you could always just get a freshman and could I borrow a meal swipe? And I would get basically free swipes all the time because everyone's just always willing to help.
Good. I assume the university has a great gym, being with all the athletes.
Great gym. Like really, really excellent gym. And there's multiple. There's the Barnes Center, which is the big athletic and health center, that has also a full doctor's office in there, which is wonderful. Um, so
Yeah.
that is the main university health center, has a big 2-floor gym, gigantic basketball court, any machine you could possibly want, a full rock climbing wall. Everything is really state of the art in there. And then
Mhm.
there's another gym in within a sophomore dorm building that is all the way across on the other side of campus. So no matter where you live, you will have access to a gym.
And they also have a pool and a hot tub. I worked as a lifeguard, so job opportunity as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually that was a question. I mean, so Syracuse, obviously, huge university, lots of things to do. What did you find like on weekends? What are the different things that you can do, especially if you're someone who loves musical theater, wants to do the thing, but on the weekends? wants to do totally different stuff and be more of a part of the college community.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I was in a sorority all 4 years and I loved it. I loved being Greek life is really big at Syracuse if that's something that you're interested in. I had a great experience. So I had all kinds of events with my sorority. There's a couple bars that everybody goes to. There's like huge tailgates all the time. There's different parties at all of the fraternity houses. Um, and there's a lot of really nice restaurants in the area too that you wouldn't think there's so many great restaurants in Syracuse, New York, but there are so many and they're so much fun. So there is really a never-ending list of things to do. There's also lots of people go and get student season tickets for different games. I love going to the basketball games. They're so much fun. You go, you tailgate with your friends beforehand, go to the game, don't go to the game, whatever. There is so much to do, and it's so much fun to be able to be in a conservatory style program, but I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything in the college experience department.
Also, the university does a great job of providing opportunities to get off campus. I never had a car when I was there, but through the university, I was able to go whitewater rafting, skiing. Um, like there are so many. It's beautiful. It's upstate New York. I mean, there's Green Lakes really close by, which you can go. I've been swimming in. You can also hike at. There's kayaking and stuff like that. There's like the Finger Lakes close by. There's a lot of hiking opportunities. Really cool things like apple picking, cute pumpkin patches, and just stuff like that. And then also there's the Landmark Theater downtown Syracuse, which has all the tours coming through, and you can get student tickets for that. So I saw a lot of touring shows, and then the dome for all of our games also
Mm.
hosts um, concerts. So when I was there, I saw Elton John. I saw Metallica when I was there. I saw Role Model. And then ones that I missed, like Bruce Springsteen was there. Billy Joel was supposed to come before he had to cancel. And just there's just so many incredible things to do. And I think something that I learned through college is there are things to do. It's just a matter of uh, finding them and then just getting up and doing it. And the more I got up and got out and did things, the happier and more fun college was for me.
Great. We have a question about our senior showcase. So, Alex, you did yours, um, and Samantha, you're about to do yours, correct? You're in your, so maybe each of you share, like, Alex, you went through it. So,
Yes, I did. I believe, have changed the structure of it a little bit since I did my senior showcase. But my experience was we um, we were picking our songs and our so okay, let me back up. So you were able to pick at most two disciplines to showcase for our senior showcase. So that could be you could do a song and a scene, you could do a song and a monologue, you could do a dance and something else, you could do two scenes, whatever that was. And then you would pick those first semester. I ended up doing two contrasting songs, and we were required to get the help and opinions of multiple professors that we trusted, that felt knew us really well, and were able to give us some really good suggestions. Additionally, there was a senior showcase, or there was a there yes, so okay, so we had a musical theater auditioning class that was first semester our senior year. And some of that was also dedicated to working on showcase material. And then we had all of these specific assignments and rehearsals for senior showcase outside of our classes as well. So then I did the Tepper semester in New York City. And right when I got to New York City, in about February, I believe, we went to a beautiful theater and we performed our pieces. All of it was filmed, and our my year's showcase was completely virtual. So they created this whole website for our class that was then sent out to a great deal of directors, casting directors, agents, managers, all of that. And all of our information was on there. So it would be for me, for example, I had my two songs on there, and then there was an individual student page that was dedicated to myself, and that had my website, my resume, my headshot, my two filmed performances from Showcase, and then I could add in some additional videos. So I had a dance reel that I had created, as well as a film and TV style acting reel.
Hey.
I'm gonna say that our system has been very similar. We're still virtual, just with how the industry is, and with us with so much being online, having media. We thought it is just kind of how a lot of showcases are going. But instead of filming in February, we actually filmed in December. In our first semester, we all the seniors stayed just a little bit longer before going off for winter break, and we got things professionally filmed. And I did a song and a dance. So there's a group dance which also features solos, so many styles. I mean, I tap danced in it. There's hip hop, there's jazz, there's like I did some like gooey lyrical stuff. And we filmed that in December, and that'll drop towards the end of this semester. And again, like Alex said, I'll be able to also upload other material, and instead of an in-person showcase just kind of being like a one night thing, I'll be able to send this video out as many times as I would like. And then also when we're here, we have um, like a networking night where we're meeting with casting directors, alumni are welcome to come, and everything, and just kind of a night to meet people. But it's been nice because senior showcase is done, and now it's just in the hands of being edited, and it'll be dropped soon. And I can't wait to see everyone because I'm really proud of the work that we did.
I will
Great.
say one extra thing that I will say about Senior Showcase is that while it is a really wonderful resource that most schools do offer, and most schools do a really great job of showcasing their students and putting it out there, it's definitely not everything. And I thought this as a freshman. I was like, oh my God, Senior Showcase is everything. I didn't get my agent from Senior Showcase. I got it from a separate random one-off mock audition during school. So the more you can use other opportunities you have to network, honestly, actually meeting people and being face to face. So something like a networking night might even be more useful. So if that takes like a hint of the pressure off, you'll probably forget that you ever heard this by the time you actually get to your senior showcase. But there are so many other ways that people get representation, that people launch their careers. And Senior Showcase is just one of many resources.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I also think that a lot of students feel like it's if you don't book an agent at your showcase, you're doomed. You're not going to have a future. And that's really, not true.
My
And in
agent
many,
actually, oops, sorry,
no, I
sorry.
was going to,
My
go on.
agent, this is really funny. So, my agent actually, I hadn't like officially signed yet, so I still submitted to a bunch of agencies. My agent actually never responded to the email that I sent them with my senior showcase even though that was who I was signing with. And that's just because they get so many emails, they just didn't see it. So it's like it's that's not the be all end all of it's not your make or break. It's just a wonderful opportunity to put yourself out there.
Absolutely. And I know, plenty of friends who, and former students who did very well actually without an agent and were able to keep all their money, so to speak, until that they really started to have some success. And then at that point, they were in a position where they could really sit down and decide who they wanted to be their manager at that point. So I always try to say that don't lose your mind because it's not the end. It really isn't. It's nice, but it's not necessary. Well, we are gonna wrap this up. I don't if anybody has a last minute question, quickly throw it in, but I think we are gonna wrap it up. I would say if you could just tell us really quickly like what you think a student like what is a student who will really thrive at Syracuse? Like what is the kind of student that will thrive at Syracuse? Oh, yeah.
I've been thinking about this, and I want to say an ambitious one. I think again there are a lot of opportunities, and there are so many things to do. It's just a matter of taking those opportunities, and I think that's just kind of thing for everything. Opportunities aren't going to find you. You have to take those. You have to go find them. So yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's someone who is looking for just the best of everything and is willing to put themselves out there on all kinds of fronts, whether it is academically or artistically, socially. If you are able to put yourself out there and find all of the opportunities, like Syracuse will meet you where you're at and really just help you grow in every single area of your life.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Sam and Alex, for joining us and talking to us about the MT program there at Syracuse. Really appreciate it. I think we all learned a lot. And for anyone who's auditioning for them this year, break a leg. I hope this helped you. Um,